Let's talk about tech, baby. Just a little bit of you and me. Sorry, I know I'm not a singer. How are you doing, YouTube? I'm Thomas Ophthalmology. I'm gonna I don't ever really do this, but I like to do reviews of products. But I got a couple of tech news that I want to get into. So first up, we're gonna do by Asrock. Asrock is they have hit the world record, 4 world records, a global first place with the 4090 KS on a micro board. So I go back over here. So they have 2 new ones. So it's the Z790i and the B6 760i. DDR5 8600, which there again, don't really expect to get that unless you got you one of the cream of the crop silicons in the middle of your CPU there. Don't expect to get this on the 12th gen or 13th gen. It's just not going to happen. I mean, there again, unless you got a cream of the crop CPU. So it's really hard to hit anything above 6400 on most of us that have, I mean, even decent systems. I mean, I got a 4090 13700K, and I mean, I can barely get 6600 out of mine. So, but there again, I guess I got the dead pick of the litter. But no, I mean, the scores that they are pulling here, running right at 5.9 gigahertz on the core clock. It's saying, I mean, they have it set to 5, but it's 5885 is 0.60 is what it's looking like. Yeah. So they're running at 8600 on the RAM. Look at that, 43,000 score. But for the KS, I mean, unless you're just hunting, like literally, unless you're just hunting a score like this, an average 13900K. When I had my 13900, it was just running way too warm, even with 2 custom loop radiators. I didn't like how warm it was running, but I mean, I was getting 4100, or it's gonna be 41,000. So, but yeah, I mean, like again, he's running the Asrock Z790i Wi-Fi, DDR 8600. His timings, which probably the best timings he's gonna get on that. But yeah, I mean, this might be a good look into. Just remember, there's only one PCI Express slot on here. This is, again, if you're just trying to build just a small little bitty gaming rig, this is perfect. But if you need to do anything else, put other M.2s. I think it only takes 2 M.2s. All right, next up is MSI is having problems with their chipset, so they're overheating and cracking. I'm on my second MSI Z790 Edge. The first one, it wasn't the fact that it wasn't the fact that it cracked on me. I replaced mine like 8 months ago, but it was getting warm. So right now it's showing the Tomahawk right here, but it's not just the Tomahawk. I mean, it's over hundreds, if not thousands of units. I'm trying to figure out what it was that they said. I think it was thousands, a few hundred units so far. There we go. But that's what it looks like underneath the chipset. So if you know how to take off the chipset heatsink, I would take it off and double check yours. Mine was running really warm. I was sitting around somewhere in the 70s on my chipset. So my computer's been running now for about 3 hours. So if you don't know or you haven't downloaded it, you need to download Hardware Info 64. So not only is it going to give me what my CPU temps are on mine, it's going to give you everything, all your voltages, everything that you need to know about of your PC and the temps and everything else. So right here is my PCH. So I'm running 48 on my PCH, and like I said, I've already taken mine off and replaced the thermal pad that sits on top of here. So I think mine was 2 millimeters on the Z790 Edge. Uh, I think I got gel. GEIL was the pad that I got. So that's what I did. I just took it apart and replaced it. Wasn't a big deal. Easy to do. When the new board come in, I didn't even install it to see if the new one had any problems. I just took it apart, put that new. I mean, it's just a little bitty half-inch by half-inch square that you got to put on there. So, but I would check if you have an MSI motherboard, I'd be checking things. The biggest error that you get is you go to turn your PC on it and it doesn't turn on no more. So that's the biggest one. All right, next up we got Battle Mage by Intel. Man, I'm really liking Intel coming up in the world in the video cards. It gives us more to choose from as far as mid-range, entry level getting into PC gaming to mid-range gaming. So the G10 and especially the G21, the G21 would probably be roughly the same performance of like a 2070, possibly a 2080, possibly. But yeah, I would say a 2070 to 2080 range, more in the 2070. But it's really good to have this next competitor in there because then the other companies have to start bringing their prices down. So Nvidia they just gouge us. They gouge us bad on it. I mean, heck, if I had a warranty on my video card today and Micro Center didn't have my video card, I'd have to pay an extra $300 on my 4090 because they're not out there right now because they went up $300 from the time that I bought mine. So the more that you have in the wild, more or less, the more you have of companies that are producing, the cheaper prices we get. So, and with inflation and everything right now, we need them cheaper prices. So, Intel coming up on the upcoming some of these video cards is actually a really, really, really good thing. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to tit tat on is the new PS5 Pro. So apparently, you're supposed to have a higher CPU boost, 45% better rendering performance, 2 to 3 times ray tracing, which, shadowing. If nobody knows what ray tracing is, shadowing. They're going to increase the teraflops. Basically, it's equivalent to like a 2080 Super if, you had to compare a PlayStation to a PC. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I think it's supposed to have a faster RAM in it. I believe it's supposed to have a 2 terabyte hard drive that's supposed to be coming in them instead of just the 1 terabyte. So yeah, so the RAM gets the speed of 576 gigabit transfer rate versus the original 448, which ain't a huge uplift, but whenever you're going to different loading screens, it will be. So the PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution upscale. What else we got here? That's some ray tracing. So the audio can run at a higher, so you can get crisper audio depending on what headset you're using or sound bar, whatever you're doing. So the big one though is the CPU gets a higher frequency and the GPU gets a boost in its performance. That's gonna be the biggest thing with the PS5 Pro. So basically, I mean, I'll try to do a review if I get one, but I'm gonna go to GameStop. As long as they're given the equal amount of trading credit for my PS5, I'll trade my PS5 in, one of mine on um on the PS5 Pro. Buddy, get down. Look at my cat back there. He's all over my stuff back there. He likes some things, don't like other things. But again, I normally don't do, videos like this, but I mean, if you're into stuff like this, like down below, subscribe, leave comments, tell me, hey, continue to do more content like this, and I'll start putting it out. I'll get better at talking to the camera. Again, it's different, talking to a camera versus doing a review with the camera. So, but no, again, these are just a couple things, especially with the MSI overheating. I think that's a big one. The Asrock was, really cool to see that a bottom end of the totem pole of motherboards is actually hitting some good numbers with their motherboards on the CPU. So that's actually really good to see because you always see it with MSI and Asus, always being the two top up there. So to actually see Asrock come in and start dominating a little bit, it's gonna be nice because their boards are so much cheaper than MSI and Asus. So, but no, again, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'm Thomas with Tomology. Catch y'all on the next one.